The scream tore through the humid evening air like a siren, sharp and furious, yanking me from my work on the backyard deck. I dropped my hammer, the clatter lost in the echo of that voice. Eleanor Grayson, Willow Creek's HOA president, her silhouette framed against the fading sun. "Daniel Carter," she shrieked, clutching a clipboard like a weapon. "What is this abomination you're inflicting on our neighborhood?" Her designer sunglasses glinted, but her eyes burned with a venom that made my gut twist. I wiped sweat from my brow, sensing this was no ordinary neighborly spat. What began as a simple debt project would spiral into a courtroom showdown, pitting me against the most notorious Karen in Willow Creek, a battle that would expose her abuse of power and change her community forever. 3 months earlier, I decided to build a modest 10 by 12-foot deck in my backyard. Just a place to grill, sip a cold beer, and enjoy summer nights. Willow Creek's HOA was infamous for its 35-page rulebook, so I played by the book, submitted plans, material samples, and waited 2 weeks for approval. The committee greenlit my project, noting my oak-tone cedar was an acceptable shade. I hired a trusted contractor, Mike Sullivan, and we started work on a crisp October morning, the air buzzing with possibility. Trouble arrived on day 2. I was checking the deck's progress when Eleanor materialized at my fence, her highlighted bob as sharp as her tone. "Daniel, we need to talk about this." "Structure," she said, her voice syrupy but laced with disdain. She gestured at the half-built deck like it was a crime scene. I grabbed the approval letter, holding it out. "It's approved, Eleanor." The committee signed off. "Here's the paperwork." She barely glanced at it, while VYing a manicured hand. "As president, I have final authority. This wood is 2 shades too dark. It's an eyesore. Tear it down, or you'll be fined due law 100 day." She scribbled a neon orange citation and thrust it at me before stalking off. I was stunned. The approval form clearly stated the wood was compliant, signed by committee member Lisa Tran. But Eleanor wasn't interested in facts, she was flexing power. That citation was the opening salvo in a war I hadn't anticipated. Over the next week, Eleanor unleashed a barrage of violations. My lawn was unkempt at a 1/4 inch too long. My mailbox needed repainting, though it was brand new. The petunias in my front yard, blooming for 3 years, were suddenly unapproved. Each violation carried a fine, and her emails dripped with condescension. "Willow Creek thrives on standards, Daniel. Please comply." I tried reasoning with her. One evening, I approached her at an HOA meeting, armed with my approvals. She cut me off. "If you can't follow rules, perhaps you don't belong here," she snapped, her eyes cold. I realized this was personal. 2 years ago, I'd opposed her at a meeting over a proposed fence height rule, rallying neighbors to vote it down. She hadn't forgiven me. The harassment intensified. One morning, I caught Eleanor measuring my grass with a ruler, her lips pursed in triumph. I'd had enough. I pulled out my phone, hit record, and confronted her. "Eleanor, this is targeted harassment. You're singling me out, and it needs to stop." She stood, gripping the ruler like a knife. "Harassment? I'm enforcing the rules you signed up for. If you don't like it, move." Her voice rose, catching the attention of my neighbor, Ray Vargas, a retired cop working in his driveway across the street. I stayed calm. Rules should apply to everyone. Your own hedges are over regulation height, but you don't fine yourself. It was a simple observation, but it flipped a switch. Eleanor's face contorted. "How dare you tell me how to do my job?" she screamed, stepping forward and shoved me hard. I tripped over a garden hose, crashing to the ground and twisting my wrist. Pain flared as I lay there, stunned. Ray dropped his wrench and jogged over. "Eleanor, what was that?" he demanded. She smoothed her blouse, her voice suddenly shaky. "He threatened me. I was defending myself. Ray wasn't fooled. I saw you push him, unprovoked. That's assault." He held me up as I winced, my wrist throbbing. Eleanor's eyes darted between us. "You couldn't have seen anything from across the street," she hissed, but her confidence wavered. Ray crossed his arms. "I saw enough, and I've watched you harass him for weeks." I filed a police report that afternoon, pressing charges for simple assault. My wrist needed a brace, not a major injury, but solid EVY denke. The officer taking my statement nodded knowingly. Grayson's a repeat offender. Power goes to her head. I wasn't surprised, but I didn't expect Eleanor's next move. She launched a smear campaign. Emails flooded the neighborhood, claiming I'd attacked her during a VY Olin outburst and that my deck was a safety hazard. She painted herself as a VY Tim, rallying a few loyalists who shot me dirty looks. But others, like Lisa Tran, backed me. Eleanor's been bullying the committee for years, Lisa texted. You're not alone. The real game changer came 2 days before the court hearing. Ray called, his voice grim. Eleanor showed up at my house this morning. Threatened to slap me with HOA fines until I'm bankrupt if I testify. Said, if you know what's good for you, you'll skip court and forget what you saw. My doorbell camera caught it all. My jaw tightened. Witness tampering was a felony. I called my attorney, Sarah Brooks, who contacted the district attorney's office. By the next day, they'd added tampering charges to Eleanor's rap sheet. The courtroom was tense. Eleanor swept in, her tailored blazer pristine, her attorney a smug man with slicked-back hire at her side. She looked in VY Seibel until she saw Ray in the witness box. Her smirk vanished, replaced by a flicker of panic. The hearing was brutal. My phone recording showed Eleanor VYing me, her rage undeniable. Ray's testimony was steady, detailing her harassment and the assault. But the doorbell footage was the nail in her coffin. The courtroom went silent as Eleanor's voice played, calm and menacing. Skip court and forget what you saw. Her attorney's objections fell flat. Eleanor's team pushed for a plea deal, and she took it, pleading guilty to assault and tampering. The judge, a no-nonsense woman, didn't mince words. MS. Grayson, your attempt to silence a witness undermines justice itself. For the assault, Eleanor got 1 year of probation. The tampering charge brought a due law $5,000 fine and a suspended 18-month prison sentence. Any probation violation would mean jail time. Eleanor's composure cracked as the gavel fell, her hands trembling. The fallout was swift. Willow Creek's bylaws banned felons from the HOA board. An emergency meeting ousted Eleanor, and Lisa Tran stepped up as president, vowing fairness. The citations against me were dropped, and my deck was finished, now a hub for neighbors who'd rally behind me. Eleanor became a ghost, her SUV rarely seen. Whispers spread that she was selling her house, unable to face the community she'd ruled. As I grilled on my deck last weekend, the coals glowing, I glanced at the fence line, half expecting Eleanor's shadow. She's gone for now, but Willow Creek feels different, freer, but scarred. Power can twist even the smallest fiefdoms, and I'll never look at my backyard the same way again. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this VY Deo with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next VY Deo.